I got out last night.
What?
And guess who I saw? None other than Stephane Wrembel, who's in the house with guitarist Josh Kay and Ari Foreman Cohen at Dazzle. Super intimate set. I walked in, started out with you, Stephane solo, and then the band came in, and it was just amazing. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, you told stories, you brought people to laughter with some jokes, and more importantly, you brought us a great trajectory of Django's career musically, which is what you focus on, the gypsy jazz genre.
Yes, this is my school, sort of, you know. This is what I learned first. I grew up in Fontainebleau, France. It's about an hour south of Paris. This is where Django Reinhardt was based, and this is where he's buried now. This is where his family lives. There's a lot of gypsies there, so I spend a lot of time with them, and this is how I learned to play the guitar, is in the contact of the gypsies. Of course, I did like classical piano when I was a kid. I started at age 4. I started the guitar at age 15, and but very quickly, with rock and roll and stuff, but very quickly was drawn to the sound of Django Reinhardt and the specific technique used by the gypsies to produce a tone and a groove and all, you know. So this is how I learned. And I learned the traditional way with the master sitting down, repeating things like it's been done and stuff. So it's deeply entrenched in my roots, you know. So I always love to present some of that. Not always. Sometimes we just do my music, but in this case, it was good yesterday to present a little bit of like a review of where the music of Django Reinhardt came from, the techniques that were used that come from the oud, which is a Middle Eastern instrument, which is the grandfather or grandmother of the guitar, and then, how it started to translate into more modern guitar, you know, because you can find that technique in everywhere, in Hendrix, in Django and all, but it's the most obvious for the guitar is in the Django style. So that's why I insisted on that. But also we played a couple of my songs yesterday. But it's true that sometimes we just do my repertoire. It really depends on the situation and all.
Well, the table is yours. It's wide open. The canvas is blank. Maestro, you can begin to play. Play us a song.
Okay, so speaking of, we're going to play a composition by Django Reinhardt. It's called Minor Swing.
My goodness.
Yes. That's the sound of the sound that was made world famous by Django Reinhardt. It's played here this morning live on KUVO's Morning Set by Stephane Wrembel and Josh Kay. Thanks so much for hanging out with us early after your set last night at Dazzle. We know you're on your way to Aspen to play as a part of Jazz Aspen Snowmass.
Yes.
And
That's what we're going to do. When we're done with the show, it's like get in the car and drive to Aspen.
who's driving?
I'm driving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen mountains before. It's fine. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Like your compatriot Cyril Aimé, who grew up around a lot of the camps. You spent some time at these Roma camps, getting the vibe and the feeling. Now you produce your own camps. What did you draw? Did you draw anything from those camps that you were around for your camp experience as you raise up musicians?
Yeah, so first thing, Cyril and I were from the same town.
Ah.
I think she's like 10 years younger than me. So by the time I left for the US, she was starting like her training in Fontainebleau and Samoa, you know. So we come from the same school, basically, you know, with the gypsies. Now, a gypsy camp is not like a teaching camp, you know. It's like a camp with trailer where people live. It's like a place where they live, you know. But what I do is a guitar camp. So it's more like a school, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
I do that once a year. It's called Django a Go-Go. And I bring some of the greatest players in the world, some of the great masters of like the Django style, you know, which are very difficult to bring over here. And so I take care of everything, the visas, all that. And they come to perform series of concerts. We have concerts in Maplewood, New Jersey. This is where I live. So we have 3 shows there and one big final show at the Town Hall in New York City, which is a legendary hall where everybody played and recorded, and it's amazing. And also we have a guitar camp for 40 students, so they can like immerse themselves for the whole week in the contact of those masters, you know, and experience a little bit of what I got to experience when I was young, you know. So I try to like bring that over here so they can have they can be in contact with that level of mastery and playing and in contact with the tradition as well and the way things are transmitted and all that.
I heard you on a YouTube talk about the balance between learning the technique, mastering the skills, and the feeling and the importance of improvisation. I'm guessing when you bring those young musicians together with the old masters, they're not just conveying skills and technique, but they're trying to draw out and tap into that passion and that improvisation.
Yeah, there are things that you cannot learn from a book, from internet, from all that. There are things you sit down with someone and you see something and it just clicks in your mind. It does something. It's not rational. You know, life is not rational anyway. Our life is in the subconscious, it's not in the conscious. The conscious and the rational is nothing but a tool. It's a very useful tool and valuable tool. It's our survival tool. But life is in the subconscious. And when you're in contact with someone, your subconscious will perceive things that the logic might not, you know. And yeah, things click like that naturally. So it's important to do that.
Can we have another song?
Yes, of course. We're gonna play Bistro Fada, which is a composition I wrote for a Woody Allen movie, and it's actually the main theme for his movie Midnight in Paris.
a treat. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Thank you.
That was Bistro Fada.
Yes, Bistro Fada.
The film won an Academy Award. I think it was Grammy winning also.
Yeah.
What is your hope as you travel the world, the troubadour of Django music, that the world would know about this music? Are you finding it loved and accepted everywhere you go? Are you still introducing it to people who have never heard it before?
These are very tricky questions because there is no music outside of the experience. Music doesn't exist outside of us. It's all the same. It's music. I don't really make differences between this music or that music. I don't see genres and stuff like that. This is not how I function. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, music. Also, it's not just the way the notes are constructed and the harmony and stuff like that. It's something else. The melody is something you can't explain, and music is something you really can't explain either. But it's there, but it's in us. It's not outside of us. It's all perception. I don't know. These are tricky questions. When you're not thinking in terms of I'm playing rock and roll, I'm playing jazz, I'm playing this, because I don't think it works like that. Especially I'm not too crazy about the word gypsy jazz, because it's double vague. Jazz is vague, and gypsy is vague, and Django Reinhardt is Django Reinhardt. He brought a way to play jazz on the guitar. He manifested jazz on the guitar. For me, when I say the word jazz, I consider that it's an archetypal frame that was born in the late 19th century. It's born. It's not created, because if you read a little bit of mythology and you reflect to the human nature, you realize a human cannot create. We have ego, but we can't create. I think the best allegory about that is the myth of the mind, the three transformations of the mind in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, the Friedrich Nietzsche's masterpiece. And it's basically the mind becomes a camel, the camel becomes a lion, and the lion becomes a child. And in this allegory, everything is said, We find that in the myth of Prometheus. We see that Prometheus, in order to create, has to steal the fire of the gods. So it's artificial. He doesn't create the fire. He has to steal it. And that's and it has the illusion of creating. And that's an allegory for man. We steal from nature, and we have the illusion that we're creating. When in reality, our best option is to play, with what we have, instead of thinking of creating. So once you understand that it's like a Lego box, a giant Lego box, and it's limited, It's a huge Lego box, you know what I mean? It's very big for us, but we don't create the Legos. We can just play with them. So it's a different frame of mind, then you're a bit more zen. So that's why, I see that frame, the frame of jazz was given birth to, not created. And you can recognize it in artists. You can say, oh, that person was in contact with that frame and has developed that frame in themselves, And in this case, you say, oh, this artist is jazz. Yeah, but when I listen to Miles Davis, and when I listen to John Coltrane and Cecil Taylor or Louis Armstrong or Django Reinhardt, I hear completely different things every time. So how can different things be named the same? It's not. So what we name the same is there is a common frame in the background. There is an invisible frame that we cannot manifest completely, because otherwise we would just be a bunch of robots, you know what I mean? That's why we manifest that frame, each one of us in a different way, and we perceive the manifestation of that frame from the other also our own way, because we all have our own personal perception.
Stephane Wrembel is a philosopher and musician.
Well, we are all philosophers and we are all musicians, because it lives inside of us, we have no choice. We are in the experience, And so Django Reinhardt is the one who showed us, he manifested the frame the frame of jazz on the guitar, the closest to the archetype. And the fact that he was a gypsy, I think it's almost irrelevant. Maybe it was good because he had a certain like freedom of mind. In some case, he was not bound by the laws of the conservatory and stuff like that. So he had some kind of freedom like that. But nonetheless, he manifested the frame, the closest to the frame itself. That's why, like, if you play like some series of harmonies and chords and stuff, people will say, "Oh, it sounds like Bach." Yeah, but Bach was very close to the archetype of harmony. So once you start to play like sequences of chords and you start to arpeggiate them and stuff, it's going to sound like Bach because he's the one who discovered it. He didn't create it. He gave birth to it, and now it's always referred to him, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with Django Reinhardt. The techniques and all that he used, this he was initiated, and that's now people like the gypsies, they keep on playing like in the way he was playing. So they are transmitting jazz, but not gypsy jazz, you know. Mm. So, because also if you listen to Biréli Lagrène, Angelo Debar, Stockello Rosenberg, if you listen to me, no one sounds the same. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like the same thing every time, otherwise we are machines, you know, and we refuse to be mechanized, you know. We refuse to be machines. We're alive.
Stephane Wrembel with Josh K. Live in the KUVO studios on the morning set. We have time for just another short one, if you would be so kind.
Sure. So we're going to play the Gypsy and Them, Ochicharnia, Dark Eyes.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci. Thank you.
This is Stephane Wrembel with Josh K. playing live here in the KUVO studios on the morning set. They finished set last night at Dazzle. They're on their way to Jazz Aspen Snowmass to entertain for a few days and explore more of the ether, more of the mist, more of the air, the atmosphere, the nature. And you're in a great place to it Aspen's a great place to.
That's what I heard, yeah.
To explore the nature, yeah. Thank you again so much for visiting Colorado. I hope that it's been good to you so far.
Thank you. It's our first time, and I'm like thrilled. We are all thrilled, actually. We love Denver. We love the people here. Everyone has been nothing but so nice. We're like really convinced.
It's always like this. It's always like this. Yeah, please do come back. And we thank you so much for playing live on the radio. It really is a rare treat to get somebody in the studio and to bring it live. You're listening to KUVO, and we are so happy you decided to join us for Juneteenth. It is a special thing to do community radio, to tap into the culture, and to play this amazing breadth of music under the category of jazz. And with a guest like Stephane Wrembel, wow.